What is going on in here? Are you the... Chris?
What was this? Ian?
Hi-
Oh my God. Are you okay?
How you like them Babysitter movies?
Oh, you watch a lot of babysitter movies. Did you watch The Babysitter's Club?
No.
What about Sisterhood of Traveling Pants?
Is that a babysitting movie?
I don't fucking know.
I think it is.
Okay.
I think it's about them going on vacation to Greece or something.
Is that what that is? I've never known. I want to know. All right. I'm sorry.
So, coming next week to badmovienight.com, Chris and Ian review The Babysitters, or Traveling Pants.
Yeah.
So we watched a little movie called The Night Sitter.
Yeah, this was actually recommended to us by someone on our subreddit, which you should join our subreddit. Search for
Mike?
Badmovienight on reddit.com. No, not Mike. That's why I was like, whoa.
Odin's-beard?
No.
Okay.
It was like somebody I never heard of.
Thornback?
No.
Okay,
Jesus,
that
that's everyone.
covers, that covers
Not even
all of
J.D.
them.
Buffington.
I don't think he knows what Reddit is.
That's everybody. That's you guys know everybody there. Yeah, The Night Sitter.
Yeah, so now starting to develop a very specific theme for
Is that it?
late 20-teens babysitter horror movies. We've got several in our quiver now.
Yep.
And now we can start to put together. I don't know what I'm trying to say here.
Things.
Yeah.
Stuff. What is going on? No,
But basically, you've got
yeah, I know what you're saying.
you've got tropes. You've got your hot babysitter.
Yep.
For whom there is more than meets the eye. You've got a kid, almost always a boy, and he's either slightly autistic or damaged or something that makes him not normal. He's usually got a friend, probably a dipshit, also a boy. You've got a dad who comes off a little creepy, not so overt that it crosses the line into sexual harassment, but just creepy enough to kind of put you off your game, make you feel a little uncomfortable. Usually about 3 to 5 teenagers, mixed gender, and then some kind of twist. I think this is an interesting genre because it creates room for a lot of different angles for your threat to be coming from. So that is the babysitter genre. In this one, what I like about The Night Sitter is that this is the first one I've seen, at least, where you have an actual supernatural threat.
So you, in general, liked it?
In general, liked it, yeah.
I would say, in general, I like this movie.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to be shitting all over it.
Okay. You're going to be night shitting all over it?
I guess my problem is like the sum of all of its parts. The movie as a whole is but
Okay.
all of its parts are really pretty good.
So, when I'm comparing it to other late 20-teens babysitter horror movies, obviously we're talking about The Babysitter
Sure.
from Netflix, and we're talking about Better Watch Out
It's hot garbage.
from
Yeah.
Shudder.
Yeah.
What?
I hated that movie.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch our review on that. I don't remember you
I
hating
don't think
that
you
one.
liked it either.
I liked it fine.
Yeah, sure you did.
Okay. In any case, I think this one nailed the horror the best.
Okay.
It's not the most fun of the bunch. Certainly The Babysitter's the most fun with its over-the-top, hyper-realistic comic book style to it.
Yeah, I like The Babysitter better than this.
Yeah.
This-
I think I like this better, but only because it actually was a little scary.
I didn't find it scary at all.
Okay.
What this feels like to me is a guy who has very strong influences. John Carpenter, Dario Argento, and Sam Raimi.
Okay.
And so you got these three aspects. The lighting is
Are
obvious-
you basing that on things you saw, or did you read an interview or
No,
something?
I'm just basing that on the movie.
Okay.
So you have the lighting of an Argento Suspiria. You know, you got
We
your
gotta talk
green,
about the
your
lighting.
red, your blue, and it's absurdly unnatural.
I liked that about it.
But awesome. Because it's
So
fun.
We need to talk about that. Do you want to get in now, or do you want to get through your points?
Let me get through my points quickly. Then you have the music of John Carpenter, but it's like so rehashed nowadays. Everything is just this 80s synth,
Yeah.
and so it's unlike in a
I
John
think that's
Carpenter.
the Stranger Things effect.
Yeah,
to a
sure,
degree.
but like in a John Carpenter movie, when you had that simple, you know, the synth, it was because it was building a tone, and this just feels like, remember 80s John Carpenter movies? Let me just throw some synth in there. It doesn't really add anything to the movie as far as I'm
I don't know.
concerned.
I thought it worked.
And
I
then
liked it.
you have your Sam Raimi-ness one with the plot, some of it, and then with they attempt to do like the Deadite kind of like and Sam Raimi kind of camera movements and stuff. They fail at that for the most part.
Okay.
And then the weakest part of this stuff is like the movie is really well made, and I like the lighting. Like they took a lot of time framing the shots, and the lighting all looks great, even though it's ridiculous. I liked it, but then the plot is so goddamn unoriginal and generic. It's Evil Dead on top of a babysitter thing. And then
more
the three
witches than it is Evil Dead.
mothers is just from the Suspiria. And they don't dive into anything outside of like, oh, they're 3 witches. But we have no backstory for them. They maybe killed kids or something.
Yeah.
But why are they back? I don't know, because you got blood on there like in Evil Dead or something. Yeah, and it's just like...
I don't think they were going for Evil Dead as much as you do.
Definitely were.
Because it was much more about the... There was one Deadite, and she hardly was around.
She was the major factor in the movie.
And she had like 2 scenes as a Deadite.
She had like 10 scenes. She was the most biggest threat in the movie.
Other than the witches. The witches were the big threat. Now, they were intentionally kind of holding those cards back.
Yes.
To, let you build fear on your own a little bit. I think you're overrating the intentional Sam Raimi connection there.
I don't think so.
I would say it's there. You're not entirely wrong. I'm sure it was an influence. But they weren't trying to make a Sam Raimi movie as much as you're trying to imply.
No. Again, they're not trying to make an Argento movie or a Carpenter movie or a Sam Raimi movie. They're just taking those aspects and throwing it in like a blender. Which is a shame to me. Like, I like the influence.
I don't think this is as unoriginal as you think it is, because as far as if you especially when you compare specifically to the other Babysitter movies that have come out in the last year or two, this is the only one with a supernatural threat. In all the other cases, it was a human threat.
Sure, but what does that matter?
I don't know. Just added a level of interesting.
But the Babysitter had a supernatural.
No, it didn't. There were Satanists that were trying to practice satanic stuff, but nothing supernatural ever happened in that movie.
Okay, it's been a while. I thought that. So I liked the movie. I thought it was fun.
It was fun.
Very forgettable. I liked its self-aware nature. It's a horror comedy, so like.
I think I do want to get into that. You said like 7 things we need to go back to.
Let's get back into it.
So yeah, I watched this one under not the best circumstances. I was doing some other things.
Okay. Are you babysitting?
No.
Okay.
And then I read some information about it on IMDb, and I noticed that it was comedy horror in that order. And I'm like, comedy? That wasn't a comedy at all. That was straight horror in my opinion. And then I put it on again later in the evening.
Pay
and I'm
more
like,
attention.
okay, I guess I see where they were going for comedy. This had no effective comedy in it. If you're looking for horror comedy and you really like both elements, you're not going to find comedy that you like.
I think the tone
There's nothing laughable about it.
Feels comedic to me.
Yeah.
It feels lighthearted, like I was saying, self-aware.
Okay.
But that's, there's no like laugh out loud
Pugsley
moments.
Jr. was the only character that I thought was funny. I think, was it Martin? Martin was supposed to be funny as well, but I just found him cringy.
Yeah, he was over the top too much.
Yeah.
Over the top, yeah.
It just felt like a dude who in real life is a jock, but is trying to play a loser. And it just didn't work.
Playing the dude, being the dude. What's that Robert Downey Jr. quote? I'm just a dude playing a dude, being Tropic Thunder.
I watch bad movies. I don't know what you're talking about with these Robert Downey Jr. films.
Never seen the Avengers movie?
I've seen it in Avengers. But in any case, comedy doesn't work. Almost across the board, it doesn't work. But I think it works as a horror movie, which is why I liked it still. We got to talk about the lighting. Why is this movie set at Christmas? Is it only so that they have an excuse to have all that lighting around the house and it feels somewhat believable?
I assume.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it serves absolutely no purpose to the
Yeah,
plot
I mean,
or anything.
a couple times somebody says Happy Christmas to somebody else, but you're right. There's no reason this couldn't have
Which
been
is
set at
disappointing,
any
right?
other time of year. Yes, because you know what time of year this movie should have been set at? It should have been set at fucking Halloween.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. At the witching hour on midnight on Halloween, and the parents can go to a Halloween party instead of a Christmas party.
So that's an interesting point, though. If you have a movie set on a holiday, does the holiday need to play into the movie in some way?
It doesn't need to necessarily, no.
So like,
But it depends.
like Die Hard, the only point it serves is to reconnect John with his family in that way. So it makes sense as a plot device. But in this, it's not even used as a plot device. It's just, it's Christmas. Why? I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe there's something on the cutting room floor,
I don't
either
know.
in the scripting phase or
I
the
thought
production
for sure at some
phase.
point it was going to come into play with the witch's like lore or something, right?
Yeah, it never really did. I think it was just an excuse to have all these red and green lights around and not feel like totally out of place.
Yeah, but it's so over the top.
It is,
So
which is fine.
Yeah.
But because of the father's interest in the occult too, having like a little bit of a creepy house
Ambiance
isn't necessarily that. So I didn't find it too distracting. I thought it was cool. I liked it. Lest we sound like we're shitting on it. I liked
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm shitting all over it. But yeah. So, if you took these witches and you changed them out for evil elves or evil whatever the fuck monster, I don't think you would have a different movie.
I mean, I like the magic element of it, but it could have been ghosts. Ghosts would have worked too.
Yeah.
Ghosts that had been somehow trapped in an artifact of some kind.
I think that's like my main problem is like the fact that they're just get some blood on a book. You know what I mean? Like, and they have the ability to come back, and they just exist, but we never learn anything about them as
not
to
much.
why or anything like that. And the same thing happens with our main character Amber, who clearly has some sort of history or past of something because she's like a young girl. She's like 19 or 20 or something.
Yeah.
But she's resorting to like robbing, and she has like these weird connections with people, and she's okay with just up and leaving town the next day.
Yeah.
So it makes it seem like she has some sort of history, and she's making a character arc in this story. But it's
I think the only thing you need to explain on both of those points is just that they were just trying to get to the supernatural stuff. You know, it was just enough setup for that.
Just enough
You're
setup.
right. You're right. It might have been nice to have found out more about the witches or more about Amber.
Well,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
When you say just enough setup, that's the problem, though. You got 50 minutes of setup till you get to that stuff. I'm not even kidding. I wrote it down. It was like 45 minutes until you get to the actual witches.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of setup dedicated to like.
Bringing in all the new characters.
But for what? So a lot of them are just fodder, right?
Yeah.
And then but to spend so much time with Amber, and then like she has a bit of a character arc, but not nearly enough.
Yeah.
For what they could have done. I think.
Her arc is basically developing a relationship with this child who showed up to babysit under false pretenses.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why
I hear you.
When the parts of this movie are good, the lighting's cool, the camera works good, the acting's fine.
Could you just another passing
It's
script,
just the
though?
script, the story is just generic as fuck.
Yeah. I think they were more excited about the paranormal and the shot design and all that than they were in developing the characters.
That's what paid off.
Yeah.
And that's why I had a good time watching it.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that they really utilize this, because they have one house setting, basically.
Yeah.
But they used it in a way where it was like maze-like.
Yeah.
And so you were always kind of confused at how big the house is.
Yeah, I thought they used the set to very good effect.
Yeah, I thought they did too. Like, I didn't need to know where everybody was. This is a movie where the spatial awareness to me wasn't that big of a deal because everybody's kind of separated, doing their own thing, anyways.
It can matter for some movies, but
So, I liked it. I would definitely recommend checking it out.
yeah. Especially if you already liked some of the other Babysitter movies we already talked about.
I think the potential here is really good.
Okay.
I think this movie's kind of mediocre.
Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah.
But it was better than I was expecting because I came in with very low
Definitely.
expectations.
I enjoyed it thoroughly as I watched it for the most part. But I'm going to forget about it.
Of the three Babysitter movies we've discussed here, this has the
Don't
lowest...
tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. It's easily the best one.
Oh, okay.
Dishes are done, man.
Dishes are done, man. Cleans them down to the shower.
This and Better Watch Out both share the Christmas theme.
They do.
But-
That was the other thing I wanted to bring up. What you think there's something to Christmas with these movies? I guess maybe he's just trying to compare to Home Alone. Is that the effect
That was
here?
what Better Watch Out was in its marketing, not in its execution. That was more, how can children torture and molest each other, which is why that movie's stupid and not fun. But this is better than that for me. Not as good as The Babysitter. That was a fun movie.
Okay, so you'd rank them Babysitter, Night Sitter, Better Watch Out.
Yeah. And, well, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
And, of course.
That's a great movie.
Of course.
Okay, that's going to do it for The Night Sitter, which apparently has been out for like years or something. I don't even know.
A week and a half, two, depending on when we release
Oh, I thought
this.
it came out last year.
No.
Oh, well then what
Just,
the fuck are you
I mean,
guys
maybe it
complaining
had
for?
a festival release last year, but it was just August 6th.
Oh, what do you, that's like today.
It was like 10 days ago?
That's like 12 days ago.
ago?
That's 12 days ago. Why am I
the only
talking
reason
like this?
the only reason we didn't cover it then was because we had some vacations and
voice?
stuff going on.
It's getting really high.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Okay, that's gonna do it for Don't Tell Mom the
Night Sitter's Dead.
Sitter's Dead. My name's Chris. This has been Ian. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, all that stuff. Send us your recommendations. This was recommended to us, so we checked it out, and we appreciate that. And then if you like it, join us on them their Patreons, patreon.com/badmovienightshow, and sign up for $2 and get access to the bonus materials, podcasts, videos, all that good stuff. Nailed that.
While you're still here on YouTube, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe, because if you don't do those things, then you don't have the attitude of gratitude. If you don't have the attitude of gratitude, then
Is this some wrestling thing or some stupid shit?
it's surprisingly close.
What is it?
I'm not explaining it to you.
Okay, whatever. All right, that's going to do it. We'll see you here later. Bye.
Bye.